All right, so let's break this down. Now, the idea here is to play a G chord like Mississippi John Hurt, but a lot of these old school blues legends from Reverend Gary Davis to Willie McTell use these techniques. So any fingerstyle blues, you can apply this. We're gonna make a G chord. Now, if you wanna get real good at playing Delta blues with the G chord in the key of G, or the key of C where it's your 5 chord, or the key of D, where it's your 4 chord, you're going to need to use these 2 fingers. It's not a G chord with your middle finger and your index finger. It's your ring finger and your middle finger. Now, we're not going to worry so much about what we're doing with our pinky and our index finger yet, because a lot of the motion comes from these 2 fingers. Once we get those fingers there, we are going to get the thumb going. So much of this is from the thumb. Now, you can, when you're just laying around, practice just this. As you're playing, you really want your thumb to be independent from your other fingers. So just getting this motion down is important. I don't use a thumb pick. I have pretty hard calluses on the side of my thumb. And thumb picks kind of just rip away the skin around my nails. You do get a louder thump sound with a thumb pick. I'm not saying avoid them. I'm just saying you don't absolutely need them, and you can play the style with just your fingers. Your thumb is going to play, and I'm muting with my right palm on right here, placing it on these lower 3-pitch strings right above the nut, and I'm playing alternating between the E string and the D string. That's what you want to get, that thumping sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get that down, we're going to add our first little bit of treble, and we're going to use our middle finger to pluck the open B on the 1. So we're going to get. It's just middle finger pulling up on that open B string when you're coming down with your thumb. It's hard to really make it visual, but that's the motion. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you feel confident with that, we're going to add that same open B on the 2. 1, 2. So boo, boo. 1, 2, bass, bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our left hand still nice and easy with these 2 middle fingers. Now we're going to add our first little bit of action on the offbeat. Our pinky, and we're going to play it on the 3rd fret of the G string on the and after 1. So you're going to go 1, then get that pinky down here and use your index finger to flick up on the G string. 1 and 2. Back to 2nd beat with your middle finger and on the open B and your thumb down here on the D. So really slowly it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Now that's nice and dissonant because we're playing a B flat with our pinky and B string here. So we're playing this note followed by this note. This note is in our chord and this note is in our blues scale. So we're using the tension that these 2 notes created, and we're blending the G chord with the G blues scale, or the G minor pentatonic. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 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 So now we're going to add another note. could see how important the pinky is going to be. After the 2, you're going to get your pinky down on the 3rd fret, but this time not the G string, the B string, which is a D note, and it's a note that is in the G chord, as the G chord is G, B, D. We're going to play with our pinky, 1 and 2 and thumb, thumb. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 And that's a little foundational groove that you can use over a G chord in any blues in G that you're playing fingerstyle. Sounds great. It mixes the G blues scale and the chord tones of a G chord. And the final piece, we're going to play through that measure just like that 2 times. So let's play through it one more time, and then let's look at how to make some cool stuff over the G7. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Feel good with that. Now we're going to get our index finger involved, and we're going to play the middle finger here on the high E string against the 1, and we're going to play the F note, making a G7. Okay. Then on the 2, we're going to lift that finger up, drop down normal bass on the D string, and play the open E string. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The E note relative to the G is what's called a 6. And that has a very nice, polished, country, southwestern sound to it that blends really well with the blues as well. It comes from the major pentatonic scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to get that pinky involved and play on that D note again, 3rd fret of the B string on the offbeat. So you're going to go 1, pinky, index finger this time, 3rd fret, and then drop down, lift this up, thumb, 3rd, or right here, open D, middle finger, open high E. So it's 1 and 2, 3, 4. 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 Now I accidentally muted that E string one time, and what's muting that is actually the fat part of my hand right here making contact with that E string. So you want to make sure that that bottom of the hand is down just a little bit away from the E string to give the notes space to breathe. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right, we're going to add that note again on the 2 after the 1. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So you can just keep it down. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 Now we are going to add the open B string on the next and after the 3. So slowly we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now here, depending on where you go, you could use your index finger or your middle finger. I tend to kind of shift with these 2 fingers and not use my ring finger so much in this style. I use just these 2. I've seen masters like Lightning Hopkins only uses index, but I would recommend using your index and your middle finger. So if we add that to it, we're going to get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 We're going to add one more note to this. We're going to play that B flat note with our pinky finger on the and after the 4. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Love it. It's dissonant, and it's going to sound not that pleasant until we learn the next measure because it needs to resolve. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, in the last little measure, you can see these two are different because the first one is what we're going to warm up with. We're going to pluck open G string with our thumb on the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we want to be able to get our pinky on the 3rd fret of the E string after the 2, like 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2. So we get 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Just strum through a G. That's how we're going to finish. So now what you see is the first idea 2 times, the second idea once, and then that last little measure we're going to strum through. And here is a 4 measure idea to show you how you can manipulate, have fun, and play a G chord in the style of the great Mississippi John Hurt. Let's play through it slow and count through it. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1. Okay, we're out that speed. I'll count us in, but I'm not going to count it while we play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to get it at that speed. The style of play sounds great at that cool mid-tempo groove. Let's try to speed it up just a little more, though, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So cool. Let's try to play it 2 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you got that, you got it. All right, and that's it, folks. That's how you play the G chord inspired by Mississippi John Hurt, but really any Delta, Piedmont, or any fingerstyle blues guitar player worth his salt knows these tricks, and now you do too. Let me know what other chords you want to learn. Let me know what other chords you want to learn. There's lots of cool tricks over the C, F, D, especially D with an open drop D. There's a lot of stuff that we can still do, but you're going to want to get that but at least now you have the G chord on your fingers, all right? Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Think about becoming a Patreon, or go ahead and print out these tabs. We have some other resources linked in the description. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling, friends. Life is good. Take care of yourselves.